Okay, let's unpack this. For this deep dive, we're exploring a fascinating concept.
Hmm.
It's been around for centuries, really,
Yeah.
but it's just exploding in the digital age.
Right.
We've pulled together quite a stack of articles for you today covering, well, everything from its history to modern marketing, learning theory, tons of practical applications.
A really broad look.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission, to figure out what edutainment truly is, why it's so effective and how it's kind of changing everything, classrooms, corporate training, even how brands talk to you.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how seamlessly education and entertainment can actually intertwine.
Mm-hmm.
It makes learning feel less like a chore, doesn't it? More like an enjoyable
Oh,
experience.
totally.
We'll look at how this approach really boosts interaction, makes learning more attractive, especially now with, shrinking attention spans. Gen Alpha, for instance.
Right, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So we've touched on this blend, this fusion, but how do we, define edutainment? What makes it different from just learning over here and entertainment over there?
Well, it's that intentional fusion, exactly. It's a creative approach that takes the structure of traditional education, but wraps it in the fun of entertainment.
Okay,
Think games, stories, movies, interactive stuff. The magic isn't just the what, but the how it's delivered.
right.
It aims to create this environment where learning is something you actually want to do, not just something you have to do.
It feels like this isn't really a brand new idea, is it? Even if the word edutainment sounds kind of modern, where does it come from?
You're absolutely right. The idea itself, hundreds of years old, goes way back to the Renaissance, the Enlightenment.
Wow.
You had figures like Kaminsky talking about school as play.
Mhm.
And one great early example is Benjamin Franklin's Poor Richard's Almanac.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, back in the 18th century, he was mixing practical advice, educational bits with puzzles and witty sayings. Made wisdom really easy to swallow.
Lover.
But the actual term edutainment, that was apparently coined by Walt Disney in 1954.
Disney himself.
Yeah. And then Robert Heyman popularized it more in 1973 when he was doing documentaries for National Geographic.
Huh. So Disney was doing this stuff way before he even named it, sounds like. What was his angle? Why was he such a pioneer here?
Disney he really got how to capture an audience while kind of sneaking in the learning.
Right.
His first educational short, Tommy Tucker's Tooth, that was 1922.
No way.
Yeah. And he kept it going with things like the True Life Adventures series, Disneyland the Show. He really paved the way for mixing these two worlds. He knew if you make learning a spectacle, people naturally tune in.
Okay, so we see the history, but this is where it gets really interesting for me. Why is this blend so powerful? What's it actually doing for us as learners? What's the advantage over, say, just reading a textbook?
The benefits are, well, they're pretty profound. First off, engagement and retention go way up.
Okay.
When you present new info in formats people normally use for fun, it kind of bypasses that effort part of the brain.
Yeah, I get that.
It taps into curiosity, reward systems, makes learning feel motivating, almost easy. And that leads to much better long-term memory.
Is there data on that?
There is. Some research showed 83.8% of students felt edutainment software helped them understand things better. And an amazing 96.6% were actually interested in using it for learning.
Wow, nearly everyone. So it's not just about memorizing facts, it's deeper.
Exactly. It's engaging a more natural learning process. And beyond just facts, it helps develop cognitive skills, critical thinking.
How so?
Well, interactive puzzles, games. They naturally sharpen your thinking, your problem solving. Plus, it gives learners freedom to explore, to be creative.
Right.
And for kids, it builds confidence, teaches empathy, social skills through role-playing, storytelling, that whole emotional intelligence piece.
And thinking about those shrinking attention spans again, especially Gen Alpha,
Yeah,
it feels almost essential now, doesn't it?
absolutely essential. Edutainment offers fun ways to learn new skills, which fits perfectly with how Gen Alpha prefers to learn: immersive, active, not just sitting passively.
Which is still pretty common in schools, that passive model.
Way too common. Plus, technology lets edutainment become adaptive. It adjusts to your pace, your preferences. That makes learning more effective and helps build interpersonal skills for collaboration.
That makes sense for kids, definitely. But does this edutainment power work for adults too? Like in the workplace?
Oh, absolutely. It can significantly improve job performance in corporate training. And millennials, Gen Z, they really respond well to engaging interactive learning, much more than, say, dry lectures.
Okay.
It also helps teachers, giving them tools to manage learning, reward progress, turn classrooms into smarter, more collaborative places. And it even helps teach things like digital citizenship.
So responsible online behavior.
Exactly. Crucial skills today.
It sounds like there's some real psychology at play here. How does our brain actually respond to this mix?
There is a strong psychological basis. Combining education and entertainment activates different brain areas at the same time. This dual activation helps us absorb information better and store it long term. It fits really well with learning theories, like David Kolb's idea of active, interactive learning.
Learning by doing.
Exactly. Learning by doing, experiencing, experimenting, not just listening. Engagement creates those deeper knowledge pathways.
Okay, we've covered the what and the why it works, even back to Ben Franklin. But let's ground this now. Where are we actually seeing edutainment being used today? How is it changing things on the ground?
Right. The applications are incredibly diverse, shows how versatile it is. And like we said, the idea is old, but tech has blown it wide open. We can sort of group it into categories maybe, like edutainment toys, edutainment experiences, and edutainment media.
Okay, edutainment toys. I mean, I had toys that were fun. Some I learned from, sure. But what makes them specifically edutainment?
Well, many probably were. Think about tactile games, things you use at home or in class that teach while they entertain. Lego is a classic
Oh
example.
yeah, Lego.
Builds creativity, motor skills, reasoning, spatial awareness, all through play. Or strategy games like chess, Scrabble, great for logical, critical thinking. Learning is embedded in the fun.
Got it. And edutainment experiences, is that just a fancy term for a field trip?
Field trips are definitely part of it. Getting out of the classroom, taking kids to a tide pool and aquarium, direct sensory learning about ecosystems.
Right.
Museums, too, especially ones that aren't just static displays. When you can interact with things, experience history or science firsthand, these trips also teach teamwork, communication, naturally.
Okay, moving beyond the physical stuff. Digital media seems like where edutainment has really exploded. Where do we start there? Film and TV.
Definitely. Its role goes back to the 40s, even before Disney coined the term. We mentioned his early films, but think about classics like Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, foundational.
Absolutely. Icons.
And there are other cool examples, like the Sabito method used in Mexican telenovelas. They subtly weave in social messages, health info into the drama, makes it very persuasive.
That's clever.
Or MTV's Shuga, educating young Africans about sexual health and HIV through relatable stories.
And then there's gaming. Games and gamification. That feels like a whole universe in itself.
It is huge and constantly evolving. Games are perfect for blending fun and learning. But it's good to distinguish between gamification.
Right, adding game elements.
Exactly. Points, badges, leaderboards to motivate you. Think Kahoots for quizzes or GimKit. You're adding game mechanics to learning.
Yep.
Versus game-based learning, where the learning is the game, the whole experience, the story, the mechanics. That's how you learn. Like Oregon Trail back in the day or Minecraft. Education edition now.
That makes total sense. Can you give examples across different subjects?
Sure. For math, you've got platforms like Prodigy, Dreambox Learning. They adapt as kids learn.
Personalized.
Very. Language learning. Apps like Duolingo are massive, making it feel like a game. They even use AI voices now for practice, apparently helping over 800,000 students with English. And for coding, STEAM subjects Scratch, CodeMonkey, Minecraft education. Again, they turn complex ideas into creative play.
It's a massive range. What about the really immersive stuff? AR and VR, augmented and virtual reality.
Oh, yeah, huge potential there. AR and VR create these incredibly immersive learning spaces. VR simulations let you do hands-on learning safely. Like the Game Job Simulator, it can teach real-world skills.
Risk-free practice.
Exactly. And museums are using AR and VR to, like, bring history alive. Imagine seeing mummification from inside the sarcophagus or dinosaurs walking around the exhibit. Makes it unforgettable.
That sounds amazing. And storytelling, of course, is ancient. How's that used now in edutainment?
Still fundamental. Weaving educational content into great stories is super powerful for retention. One of the source authors, Jason, mentioned being inspired by Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson books.
Yeah, those are huge.
Right. So he created his own universe, the Argoverse, based on myths, but with a clear educational goal. Shows that engaging stories can be really informative.
And for learning through conversation, like we're doing now, radio and podcasts seem ideal.
Definitely. They blend education and entertainment very naturally. Old radio shows like The Urchers in the UK, tackling farming issues in a drama format, or podcasts today, Serial looking at justice, Freakonomics with economics, Radiolab making science cool, Stuff You Should Know. The list goes on.
Good radio hour, too. Making big ideas accessible.
Exactly.
I was surprised, but intrigued. to see hip-hop culture mentioned. How does that fit?
It's got this unique power to educate through thought and action, often carries strong social commentary, historical lessons. The musical Hamilton is a perfect example.
Oh, good point.
Using hip-hop to teach American history in a way that's just incredibly engaging and culturally relevant.
What about bigger attractions, theme parks, museums? Again, how are they stepping up their edutainment game?
They're getting really good at it. Epcot's a classic blend of fun rides and learning about tech, culture, conservation. SeaWorld focuses on marine biology and rescue through shows. Disney's Animal Kingdom, Busch Gardens, even places like Dinosaur World. And museums are adding way more interactivity games, apps, projection mapping, VR, live reenactments like at the North Carolina Museum of History. It makes the past feel present.
And the last big area, really important for many listening, corporate training.
Yeah.
How are businesses using this?
They're definitely catching on. Using educational games, VR sims like Job Simulator, AI tools for personalized learning paths, all to boost skills, keep employees engaged, and help them retain information.
Is it working?
Seems so. One stat mentioned a 62% jump in test scores when AI was used in training, so it's making a tangible difference in professional development.
Okay, this sounds almost like a revolution in learning, an unstoppable force maybe?
Yeah.
But there must be challenges, right? Speed bumps on this edutainment highway. And what's next?
Oh, for sure. It's not all smooth sailing, despite the momentum, and the momentum is real. The market was valued at, what, $2.28 billion in 2023, projected to hit $9.38 billion by 2032.
Huge growth.
Massive growth. That's a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 17%. Huge opportunities for businesses. But the main challenge is always that balance.
Entertainment versus education.
Exactly. Keeping the entertainment engaging without watering down the learning or making it too shallow. You need relevance, accuracy, real facts.
Tricky balance to strike. And keeping everyone included.
That's the other big one. Staying relevant with changing tastes, keeping up with tech is tough. And accessibility, virtual edutainment needs tech, devices. That leaves some people out.
The digital divide.
Right, so we need inclusive options, maybe blending online and offline. There's also a small risk of people becoming too dependent on game elements for motivation. And of course, security and privacy in digital spaces are critical.
With tech moving so fast, especially AI and VR, what specific trends do you see shaping the future here?
Definitely more AI. Expect hyper-personalized learning paths and more sophisticated AR/VR, creating really deep, immersive educational experiences.
Sounds exciting.
It is. There's also a growing focus on making content sustainable, inclusive, appealing to diverse audiences, tackling important global issues through edutainment.
So the future involves adapting constantly.
Absolutely. Companies need to keep evolving, make sure the educational side is solid, measurable objectives, while still keeping it genuinely engaging. It's about making learning effective and enjoyable for everyone.
So wrapping up, we've seen how edutainment, this idea that's actually centuries old, has been, well, turbocharged by modern tech. It's making learning not just more effective, but actually enjoyable, from Lego bricks to complex VR training.
Yeah, and if you connect it to the bigger picture, it's really reshaping how we learn, how we gain skills. It empowers us to be active learners, right? And for brands, it's a way to build real connections through authentic engagement, build communities around learning.
It really shifts the perspective on learning, doesn't it? So for everyone listening, knowing now that learning can be this engaging, this adaptable to you, was one thing you've always wanted to learn, but maybe felt intimidated by. And how could you look for an edutainment way to finally dive into it?